Hi guys, Patty from Patty's Crafty Spot, and I'm here to share with you today a new page for the little mini album we are working on building. And I used the new Crealies products out. So this is a Crealies XXL die number 100. And I also used two of the new On the Edge dies, and this is number 44 and 41. Fun new dies, and if you know me, you know I love On the Edge dies. So what I'm going to go ahead and show you right now is the page for our little book. And this is using the die right here, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to make little doors, and they flop open. And then we also went ahead, created a pocket inside, and then using the fun On the Edge dies, we went ahead and created some photo mats. So I have a full tutorial for you on how to go ahead and make this, and I'll show you how to go ahead and make the doors. We use some ribbon on that. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial and have fun. So we're going to get started on our next page for the mini album, and I am using the Crealies Nestle's XXL dies number 100, and also one of the new On the Edge dies, and this one happens to be number 44. So you have these two cute little On the Edge dies. So what I'm doing for this one is I use the second largest one, and I cut out a piece out of my black cardstock and two pattern pieces. So this is going to go, I'll still have to cut out, but these are going to layer on. I know it's hard to see, but these are going to layer on top of each other. So this will be my page, and then this is going to be the design. So I went ahead and cut those out. So what I'm going to do is place these on top, because what I want is when I place them like this, because basically what I'm going to do is make little doors, and it's going to be hard to make sure everything is lined up if you cut it individually. So you really kind of need to cut them all together. So this is a layer. So this is going to glue here, this is going to glue here, and then I need my little doors out of the cardstock. So how to do that is I'm going to go ahead, make sure everything is lined up, and I'm going to take this die right here, and this is going to go right down the middle, just like this. So this way my doors will open up. So I'm going to go ahead and run that through my machine. I'm probably going to have to run it back and forth a few times because I do have quite the mix of paper and stuff here, so it is a little thicker. So I'm going to go ahead and run that, and I'll be back in 1 second to show you. Alright, so let me show you. I did run it through a few times, so let's see how we did. So here's the first one. And this one. And this one did not quite go all the way through, but I can see where it needs to go. So I'm going to line this up and run it back through my machine one more time. Alright, so I went ahead and cut that out, and it appears that I got it where it needed to. So let's just make sure that lines up. So this should line up. Alright, perfect. So what I'm going to do is I do want to ink this real quick. So let me go ahead and ink these, and then I'll be back. Alright, so I'm all inked up, and I also forgot I do need another piece of cardstock the same size as these, as well as another pattern paper. So let's go ahead and get started. And you're also going to need some ribbon. I'm just using some black ribbon because it's going to match my cardstock, and you're not really going to see it, so it's just more to make your doors open and close. So let me go ahead and cut some pieces. So you're going to need 4. And there's no special measurement, I'm just cutting them. So the first thing you're going to do is go ahead And what basically you're going to do is use the ribbon to create the hinges on the door. And I'm using ribbon instead of cardstock because I think it's going to need a little more, it's going to be moving, so I feel like it needs a little more something sturdier than just paper. So I'm adding a little glue. And I'll show you 1 second. So I'm doing glue to half my ribbon. So I have that on right here. As you can see, I'm doing it at the bump parts here because it's the part that's going to be closest, that I can get the tightest grip where you're not going to be able to see the ribbon once it's folded over. And then I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. You could tape it, although I feel like the glue will hold better and the tape will not come out. And depending on the climate too, sometimes tape has a tendency to become unsticky. So these are my doors. And I'm just making sure I'm doing them the correct way from my opening because of how I have this. So make sure if you're using directional pattern paper that you make sure like your pieces are going to go the same way, because if you do it wrong, your door will open upside down. So I have that. So the first thing is I'm going to go ahead, line this up, making sure I'm lined up exactly. So I'm putting the half on top of the full piece and making sure I am lined up nice and tight. I'm going to flip it over, and now I'm going to add glue to my ribbon, and I'm going to fold it over onto that back piece. I have that one down. I'm going to do this side. Make sure we're all lined up. Flip it over. I just slipped. You do have a little bit of play in here right now because you don't have the pattern paper on it, so if it's not exactly lined up, and because you're using ribbon, not paper, there is a little more flexibility to it. Alright, so now you see how our little doors are going to open like that. And then this is why you had to cut all of your pattern paper, because you want to make sure it's going to line up perfectly with the doors. And as you can see how hard it would be to get it to line up. So the easiest way for this is, I want to be able to see it. So I'm going to go ahead, open it up, and then I'm going to glue down my pattern paper to the top. Don't do anything underneath yet, but go ahead and glue down your top pieces. So I'm going to add my glue. Making sure I am lining up. Just like that. And I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. I do not know if my camera is picking up my jungle that happens to be going outside right now. It is nighttime. I do not live in the jungle. It just sounds like it at the moment. So again, making sure we're going to line up there. So glue it down. There we go. So if we close it back over, there's our doors. So now I want to go ahead and add some magnets to this because I want my doors to be able to open and close and stay open and closed. So let me find my magnets somewhere. Go. I'm going to add a couple. And I also have some discs that I'm going to do instead because I want to save on my magnets. And I also want to kind of not have so much bulk. So I think I'm going to put my magnets on the doors because I'm not going to be adding anything there. So if I put one there and one there, so just going to put a little glue to hold it in place. And I also want to add some tape. Because I just want to make sure they're not going to move. And now I'm going to go ahead and add my pattern paper. So this is going to go over the top just like that. So I can remove the tape and then I'm going to add my glue. And then I just want to make sure if my magnet does come off, I got it surrounded by glue so I don't have to worry about that slipping. Show them what I'm doing. Okay. And I'm being careful how far I press down here. I don't really want to see the magnet, so as long as I kind of rub it and not make more of an indentation, you're not really going to see the magnet sticking out so much. And then this side. Let's set this one down. And make sure it sticks down by the edges. That was missing a little bit of glue. So we should be good. So now we have our doors, and they're gonna, and they close. So I want to find my spot for my magnet. So I'm going to put a little glue on here to mark it, and then making sure I'm lined up good. Now I just made a mark there. So put my disc, and then there you go. I can go ahead and put that one down, and we'll do the same thing to the other side. And that one. And this is why you needed to have this piece, because now what you're going to do is go ahead and put that right over the top. So let me remove the tape, and then we'll add glue. Alright, and we'll get this stuck down. And there we go. So now when your doors close, they'll keep everything contained. Like that. Alright, and then I also want to put a little tiny pocket down here. So let me get those pieces ready to go and I'll show you that. So actually before we go ahead and do the pocket, so I have my larger piece here from my page itself for my album, and this is literally going to sit right on top just like that. So why don't we just go ahead and glue this down now, and then while that's drying we can do the little pocket and this will be nice and dry by the time we go to move it around a little bit. I'm going to go ahead, line it all up, make sure we're even everywhere. And I think we look good, so go ahead and press it down. Open it up. This way it'll be nice and stuck when we go to do the pocket. So there's that. So let me go ahead and make the pocket and then I'll be back. So I'm going to go ahead and make my pocket. So I went ahead and I cut out another piece using this die right here. A lot of times I will use plain cardstock and then back it with the pattern paper. However, this is already kind of thick with all the layers we have here, and I didn't want to make it too thick. So I'm just going to use pattern paper, and I happen to have some pieces left over from my other page that I did. Because I'm going to cut this, I don't need to worry about keeping all of the pieces. Trying to see what color. So what I did was I just used a piece of the scrap, and I'm from the on the edge die. It comes with 2 of them in number 44. So I'm going to use the second one with this little scoop. So the same thing, I'm just going to go ahead, line it up just like that, and I'm going to go ahead and run it through my machine. I went ahead and cut it through my machine, and now we have our bottom of our pocket. So what I'm going to do with this one here is I'm going to glue it down, and I'm going to place it right on top. So I'm going to glue it in a U shape. So I'm only going to glue the edges so I can still leave the pocket part open at the top to go ahead and put my little photo mat in there. So let's glue that down. Again, right along the edges. And leaving the top untouched. Lining it all up and press it down. Just like that. So now I'm going to give that a minute to dry. I'm going to cut my photo mat and I'll be back. Alright, so now we're going to make this cute little photo mat. So look at the cute little decorative edges. So these are also new on the edge dies, and these are number 41. So you get 2 of them. You get the one that makes the squares and one that makes the circles. So let's go ahead and show you how to do it. So I determined the size of my photo mat, which is 2 1/4 by 3 1/2. So it'll make a cute little, it fits in perfect in there. So I went ahead and I cut my black cardstock at 3 3/4, and then just the length. So I have, is it? Oh, let me just double check. Yeah, so this is 3 1/2, this is 3 3/4. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and glue down my photo mat. And line it up to where I want it, making sure we're even. There we go. And then all I'm going to do is go ahead and run this through my machine. And I'm just going to go ahead and leave a little bit of the black line showing. So you can see I'm not, let me move it, I'm not quite all the way up against the white part of my photo mat. I'm just going to leave a little strip. So I'm going to run that through. You can see how cute they are. Alright. That. And then I'll just go ahead and separate it. And if you wanted to make another photo mat, you could, because then you just use this other side cut out and then just cut from the opposite side. So there we go. And then it just go ahead and tuck it in the pocket, just like that. And everything closes up and your little door's shut because of the magnets. And there we go. And that's how you make the next page. So now we have 2 pages for our album. So where's my other one? So this is going to be a very fun, interactive little album, depending on how you put them together. They are probably not going to go like this, but when that isn't that going to be so much fun. So you have the little waterfall, and then now we have our cute little doors with our pockets. Alright, so let me go over real quick again. The little doors open up, and then we have a little pocket to hold our little photo mats. And everything closes up. So real quick again, the dies that I use, the Crealies Nest XXL dies number 100. And 2 of the new On the Edge dies, I use number 44 and 41. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this quick little tutorial on my little page for our album we're going to be building. And if you're watching this on the Crealies YouTube channel or Patty's Crafty Spot, go ahead, give it a thumbs up, click the subscribe button, and till next time guys, happy crafting. Bye!